Guys, we are now joined by one of the OGs of the NFL Network and also one of the greatest to ever play in the defensive backfield. Obviously, you know, he had a 17-year NFL career, 11-time Pro Bowler, Super Bowl champion. Maybe the greatest at his position, certainly of his era. Guys, let's welcome in Rod Woodson.
All right, Rod.
Living legend.
What's up, man?
Rod,
not in my house.
No, still not. No, still not. No.
What do you got to do?
I got to take out the trash.
Yeah, I hear that, man.
I know you're here on behalf of the NFL and you're doing some stuff with the Steelers. What is your role tonight with the Pittsburgh Steelers?
Well, I'm doing the number 2 pick. So hopefully it's not a hard name.
Right.
That's true.
I'm just really hoping it's not a hard name.
Right.
I can just get it out really easy. But, you know, it's an honor to represent the Steelers. You know, they gave me my opportunity in the National Football League in 1987. Spent 10 wonderful years there. It's a great family. And it's a great thing they did last night.
How cool was that?
Ryan Shazier walking out on the stage. I thought that was the best moment of the whole draft.
I agree.
I really do. I mean, yeah, these guys get drafted. You see that stuff all the time. It's going to happen again next year. But to see that opportunity for Ryan Shazier come out there and to represent the Steelers like that, that was an inspirational moment for me.
It's powerful, powerful stuff. Now, listen, there's a ton of DB talent that went off the board. Denzel Ward, Minka Fitzpatrick, Derwin James, and of course the Steelers, Terrell Edmonds. Which one of these guys excites you?
You know, I'm glad the Steelers went defense. They need that on the defensive side. But Denzel Ward, just one of those guys. You know, you think about what Ohio State has produced the last several years.
Yeah.
So last year they got Lattimore, who played extremely well for the New Orleans Saints. You had G-Money, Gary and Conley, who we drafted in Oakland. And it's unfortunately he got hurt, but he's going to be a really good player. And Denzel Ward. And if you watch him play, his skill set just fits in the National Football League. He has long speed. He's short area quickness. Is extremely talented, and it's hard for the receiver to get away. Even though receivers make breaks, but he can react just as fast as they can. So I'm really excited to see what this guy can do in the National Football League.
I'm trying to think of some of the names in the second round that might be tough. Mike Gesicki, Darius Geis. Darius Geis. You got it, Rod. You'll be fine. Let's get into some stuff,
long as as long as they're not like Hawaiian or Samoan and they got like 20 vowels, that's the hardest ones. To be honest now.
Vita Vea, he came on the radar. He shut it down. Shut it down for us.
It was
tight.
It was a simple version of it.
A lot of vowels though. A-E-I-O-U. You'll be fine. You were with the Raiders last year. You were not kept on as part of the new regime, and in leaving, you were really complimentary of the players and the experience, but you've also, Rod, been critical of the new direction of the Raiders, free agency, all the money for Gruden. Talk about, to Raider Nation, how do you feel right now the Raiders are headed?
Well, you know, first of all, the pick that they got last night in Martavis Bryant, taking that trade, it's a wonderful pick for them. And I think it's a great pick for the Steelers because anytime you can bolster your middle rounds in the draft, it helps your football team. You know, when you look at, and the only thing I was really critical about is getting rid of Michael Crabtree and bringing in, Jordy Nelson. And I'm saying, how does Jordy play better than Crab? Crab
was a baller.
The last 2 years in the red zone,
phenomenal.
Crab was the Oakland Raiders' go-to guy.
You're right.
So how do you combat that? Where do you go to with that? That was my biggest question.
On the way out, they said that Crab might have had some personality. What was he like as a guy?
You know, I love Crab. I wasn't in the locker room as a player, so I don't know how that whole thing transpired. But as a coach, I love the guy because he was feisty. He was going to give you his all on game day. There was a couple other things that happened, but at the end of the day, you want a guy to perform on game day. Not on Wednesday, not on Thursday, but on game day.
Okay, now speaking.
Let me just follow up one thing. We had Cordell Patterson on the show, and we asked him, so as a Raider, you hear that they're hiring a coach, and they're hiring him a $100 million deal. What do you think? He goes, I guess I'm gone. You know, that was his reaction. What do you think? That much money for John Gruden?
Well, you know, I love Mark Davis. I love the Davis family. I just hope it works out. I mean, they're going to play better. All right, listen. We were 12-4 2 years ago. We were 6-10 last year. They're going to play better because they have the pieces. Derek Carr's going to play better. Everybody's going to play better. So they're going to be. It's just the long term what worries me because John Gruden, his style, unless he changes the style, normally doesn't last 10 years in a place. So that's what scares me for the Oakland Raiders, because I love the Raiders. I've been a Raider fan since I've been 9 years old.
Is that right?
Yeah.
I played for the Powell Raiders in Fort Wayne, Indiana. That's what made me a Raider fan.
You're still dressed like a Raider. Look at you.
I'm still dressed like a
Silver and
Raider.
black.
Well, I like black. I like.
You look good in
black.
that Purdue also. Yeah, all that.
But black and gold too.
I know.
Yeah.
Right? But, I love everything about the Raiders. I had Lester Hayes when he had the Jerry curls, and he had the long towel right here. And he had his arms all like here, and he had to stick them on both sides.
All over, yeah.
I had that poster in my room, so I'm a Raider fan. And my only thing is I want to make sure that Mark Davis is somehow protected. So if they're not 3 years down the road, 4 years down the road, and they're 500, do you have to give them 6 more years?
Right.
That's what scares me for the 10-year, 100% guarantee for a coach.
Now, listen, this helps me segue into my next question. I'm glad we're talking about money. We're talking about guarantees. We're talking about the future, because there's a guy that's wearing your number in Pittsburgh, Le'Veon Bell.
26.
And you mentioned the style of the Raiders and the amount of money they paid the coach. What about the style of Le'Veon Bell and the amount of money he wants? What would you like to see happen with the Steelers and Le'Veon Bell?
Two things. We hear that running backs are, it's everything. It's done by teamwork.
Committee.
You can have done by committee, but when you can find a bell cow,
Talk about
like Le'Veon Bell, and you've seen 3 guys go off the board last night.
Yep.
So I think that myth has been put to rest.
There you go.
All right, that's one thing. And then Le'Veon Bell, he is a talent. He's very special. They have to come to a happy medium. He's not going to get what he wants, and they're not going to get what they want. So when both teams walk away and both parties walk away and say, you know what, I feel a little slighted.
It's some compromise.
But it's a little compromise. When they can come to that, they'll agree. And I hope that they keep him, because he is an extremely rare talent. And I'm glad he's wearing 26, because he's representing 26 extremely well.
No doubt.
But I hope he stays there for life.
Yeah.
Him and
AB.
Antonio Brown, man, who is the best receiver in the National Football League, with Ben
He's
at
a
the
beast.
quarterback position. I mean, they have a dynamic offense.
Rod, you also played for the Baltimore Ravens, won a Super Bowl with those guys. They got a guy, Lamar Jackson, with the 32nd overall pick. Going through the process, this is a young man who said, I'm a quarterback. I'm not going to play wide receiver for you. I'm not going to run the 40-yard dash at the combine. I'm not going to do it at my pro day. Now that he's in Baltimore, you look back at his last few months, what was your impressions of Lamar Jackson's pre-draft process and where he ends up and what his future might be?
Well, it was question marks. I mean, it's like, well, this guy's not representing. Nobody's going to represent him. He's going to represent himself. His mom's going to represent him with the NFLPA. But I tell you what Ozzie Smith did last night.
Ozzie Newsome.
Ozzie Newsome, excuse me, Ozzie Smith. Even though I played against this guy.
Sure.
But, he's a Hall of Fame player. Can you go in twice? Can you go into the Hall of Fame as
an executive?
Yeah, you
as
can.
an executive? Can you really?
You should.
I mean, what he did last night was amazing. You get a great tight end.
You get Hayden Hurst, who's a quality player.
Who looks like Thor.
He does.
Looks like the work.
He looks like Thor. I mean, he's got long flowing hair, right? Yeah. But then when you come back in late in the first round, the 32nd pick, and you take maybe the most dynamic player,
Heisman Trophy winning.
when you watch him play, and Michael Vick was with us yesterday, right? And I'm like, Michael Vick was fast. And I don't know if this guy is just as fast as Michael Vick, but if he is, it is so hard to prepare for that, because when a quarterback makes first downs with his feet,
Talk about it.
they're going to win more games. So, and he can throw the football.
Right.
I think he can get to that point. And I think him sitting behind Joe, and they're polar opposites.
Complete different players.
They're polar opposites.
Yeah.
But he can pick his brain about different things about the pocket and what he sees. And then when he gets out there, you just let your athletic ability take over. That's when you see greatness on the field.
Amazing stuff.
Amazing.
This is it.
And listen, we appreciate you joining us. And yes, you are a living legend. I don't care what they say in the house.
In this house.
In this house, you are. And on the field, you were at corner, at safety, and of course, everything you do.
I love
off
your
the
show,
field.
guys.
This guy built the NFL Network, too. One of the original
That's right.
guys.
The
love it,
OGs.
Rod.
Rod
One of the OGs.
Woodson,
Appreciate it,
everybody.
guys.
Thank you so much. And don't you guys go anywhere. Listen, what I